First period has the privilege of being here while I make a video. So if you're watching this video later, just know that it's being made in first period. All we're doing is modeling percents. So when you look at the very first example, example A, model 7800s by shading a 10 by 10 grid. So 7800ths means 78 out of 100. So I'm going to shade in, and these are rows of 10. 1, 2, 3. Isaac, go sit down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 70, and then 8 is 8 more little squares. Those of you that are on the Explore activity part of your to-do list, you can watch it right now and then check it off. You can watch it while it's being made. So there's 78 out of 100, or 78%. B says model 1 and 4200ths by shading 10 by 10 grids. This is more than one whole, so they provided to us 2 grids. Okay, 1 and 4200ths. So one whole is going to be one whole grid, which is 100 out of 100. And then the 4200ths is 42 little squares out of 100. So the first one is 100 out of 100. The second one is 42 out of 100. And when you add those together, you get 142 hundredths, which is more than one whole, which is 1 and 42 hundredths. So I'm going to go ahead and shade in one whole grid. There's my 100 squares. I don't have to take a whole lot of time doing this. And then the 42 squares on the other one. There's 10, 20, 30, and then 1, 2, 3. No, it's just 2. Wait, what am I doing? 42. Wait. 10, 20, 30, 40, and then 1, 2. Okay, so 1 and 42 hundredths equals 100% plus 42%, which is 142%. Okay, C says model 125% by shading 10 by 10 grids. Remember, this is all just modeling. You're not calculating. Model 125%. So the model shows a whole grid and another whole grid. 125% is going to be all of one, 100 out of 100, and then 25% of another one. Remember, percent means how many out of 100. So I'm going to shade in 25. There's 10, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 25% right there. Okay, 25%. The model shows 100%. Here's 100%. Here's 25%. So that's 100 plus 25%, which is 125%. And then to change that to a decimal, that's 1 and 25 hundredths. One whole grid and 25 hundredths of another grid. So when I add these together, there's 100 out of 100. That's one grid right there. Here's the other grid, 25 out of 100. When you add those together, that's 125 hundredths. Each little square is a hundredth. So we can say that's 125 hundredths, which is one whole grid and then 25 out of another one, which is 1 and 1/4 when you simplify it. Now we're going backwards. We're looking at a grid that's already done for us, and we're naming the percent. So how many out of 100 is the light blue? There's 10 squares right there, and there's 3 squares there, so that's 13%. Change that to a fraction, that's 13 out of 100, and as a decimal, that's 13 hundredths. When I look at B, that's more than one whole, so it's going to be more than 100%. That's 100 squares here, and that's 30 squares here. So that's 130 hundredths, which is equal to 1 and 30 hundredths, which is equal to, cross out my zeros, that's 1 and 3/10, 130%, and then that's equal to 1 whole and 30 hundredths of another, which simplifies to 1 and 3/10. Thank you, first period, except for Isaac and Fausto.
Oh.
No, y'all did great. I just wish you were working.